going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I got a kind of short video today. Just got a couple things that I want to talk about. A little bit about, rookie minicamp that just happened. Really, I mean, there wasn't a lot to that. Their media wasn't really allowed, so there wasn't a lot, coming out of that. It was just a couple days, pretty much just to kind of get the rookies and undrafted free agents and stuff acclimated to, start getting them acclimated to the NFL, to the team facility, the coaches, kind of get familiar with each other, do some basic drills and stuff like that. So not a lot, but that just ended, and that goes into OTAs. And so the thing I want to talk about is OTAs, and we're going to get more into it, like more actual, like what's going on in OTAs. This is just a quick little something that came up today, and that's that there's a report that the Dolphins are having over 70 plus players attend OTAs. So, quick side note, again, as you guys know, I think it's a disaster that they're having live in-person stuff. I think it's a disaster that they're going to have the season yet again, just like last year, because COVID is going to very much spread because of it. And even more so, I would venture to guess that this year, COVID is going to spread a lot more with the help of the NFL than it did last year, because this year they're going to actually have packed stadiums. So the NFL is going to help the virus to transmit even more so than they did last year. But that's a side note. So I want to talk about it because, people are praising Brian Flores. So real quick, this one dude got over 70 attending OTAs, love this shit, they want to earn it and are tired of the bullshit. Phins up. Okay, that's fine, that's cool. But this one in particular about Flo, 70 plus at OTAs, that is all Flo. He has built a culture of respect and accountability. Dude will be an all-time great. Okay, now the reason why I read that first, wanted to read that first, is because the actual the first alert that I saw, the first headline, the first note that I saw came from Ian Rappaport, and he was the one that reported that the Dolphins had more than 70 players at OTAs today, right, because they're just starting today. So the Dolphins had more than 70 players at OTAs today, the result of a negotiation between the players and Coach Brian Flores to lower the exertion level. Accordingly, players showed up to learn. So, and the reason why I bring all that up and the reason why I'm talking about it is because I've actually mentioned this in the past, and it goes to that, culture thing, because as you guys know, I do not believe that Brian Flores is creating a proper culture. In fact, I think that he is creating a very toxic culture, and he's also creating a culture that is very, very similar to the Patriots, whether people want to believe it or like it or not. It's a fact. He's bringing over a ton of players, a ton of coaches from the Patriots, and he consistently keeps doing it. He brought Jason McCourty over this year, right? But not only that, but his practice habits, his defense is pretty much identical in a lot of ways to the Patriots. So it's really not even a debate. It's not an argument. Anybody that wants to say Brian Flores is not trying to be Bill Belichick and recreate the Patriots is an idiot and doesn't see reality for what it really is, and is actively choosing to ignore the facts at hand. But then you add in, and part of the reason why I don't like the culture that he's building is because of things like, lying to Laramie Tunsil and telling him he's not going to trade him right before he does. Not to mention the significant other lies, like after the 49ers game. Why would I put Tua in for garbage time when all he's going to do is hand the ball off, just to literally do it the very next week? And at that same time says, I'm not going to fucking, I don't want to rush him along. I don't want to get him injured, and then makes him the starter 2 weeks later, right? So, there's that. There's the way that they handled the Kenny Stills situation. I think he's a garbage person. People don't like that, and I've had people tell me, oh, you just don't like the color of his skin. It has literally nothing to do with that. It has literally nothing to do with that. Nothing, not a single bit. I'm judging the dude based off of his actions. And the way he treated Kenny Stills in that situation was garbage. The way he treated one of his players of color and decided to side with the white male billionaire owner, that's as far as race goes into it for me. The black head coach decided to side with the white male billionaire owner over his player of color, who he's supposed to be responsible for, right? Who he's supposed to be the leader of, etc., etc. He's a garbage human being. He's a sellout for going into the 2019 season with the philosophy of tanking, and he's a lapdog because all he does is follow his fucking marching orders from Stephen Ross. If people hate me for that, for recognizing and acknowledging the reality of his actions, fine. If you want to call me a racist because of that, I don't give a shit, because it's not even close to fucking true, because it literally has zero to do with his skin color and everything to do with the garbage decisions that he's making. Also, I've talked about his culture before in the past and said, look, bro, because look, now it never materialized, to be fair, but there were lots of players who were like, if you trade Laramie Tunsil, we're gonna revolt, right? And you know, the way that they treated Ryan Fitzpatrick, and the way that they treated Kyle Van Noy, right? You know, again, specifically on that one, I never thought they should have brought him in to begin with, but my point is the way that they just continue to prove that these guys don't matter to them as long as they can provide something to them, then it's gross, right? So in other words, as long as you can do something for me, we'll keep you around, right? Like, otherwise, you're perfectly expendable and fuck you, whatever. Like, if you don't meet my super high extreme standards, then fuck you, you're cut, whatever, right? There's no loyalty, there's none of that, right? And so, you know, and then, but people will praise Flores for being so fucking, I don't know, whatever it is, cutthroat or whatever, so fucking, if a guy doesn't work out, then he's quick to just get rid of him and fucking admit to the mistake, which has happened quite a bit because he made the bad decision to begin with. Nobody wants to ever give him that. Nobody ever wants to be like, yeah, well, he decided quick to get rid of the guy after making a mistake, but nobody wants to give him credit for the mistake to begin with, which I think is ridiculous. And then also nobody wants to acknowledge the fact that he's also cutting guys super quick and not even really giving anybody a chance to develop, which doesn't bode well for his ability to develop. But anyway, so this all plays to how, you know, the culture that he is setting is actually not very good. And it's not going to hold up, man. I mean, how many fucking times have we heard ex-Patriots players how dreadful and dismal it is? And I have talked about in the past about a couple times about how his practice habits are like excruciating. The way that he makes these guys fucking run in practice damn near fucking kills them. And I just find it funny. That you know, players had to literally negotiate with their fucking head coach to be like, bro, you need to calm down a little bit. Like, this shit is rough, dude. Like we're NFL players and but like, you take this shit to a whole nother level and like, it's killing us. So like, calm down, right? So anyway, but that's just, to me, of course, most people won't see it this way. Most people will look at me like I'm just some hater or whatever. But to me, that's just even more evidence to prove the point that his culture that he's building or has built is actually not all that good, right? And in fact can be quite toxic. They literally had to go to their fucking head coach and be like, bro, you got, and if they didn't, or if he didn't accept that, if he refused to accept that, then there would not have been a headline saying 70 plus attending Dolphins OTAs, right? People wouldn't be able to say dumb shit like Brian Flores is going to be an all-time great because he got 70 he got 70 players to attend OTAs by accepting their negotiation terms of calming down practices because they were too fucking hard. Okay, whatever. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. And so I just got a couple other quick things to throw in. I just wanted to mention that the Dolphins have claimed a cornerback off of waivers from the New Orleans Saints, cornerback Trill Williams. And then also, too, I just wanted to mention that, you know, there were a lot of offensive players that were mentioning, you know, players that are returning or whatever, or I don't know if a lot, but there were comments made from offensive players, returning offensive players, that were mentioning that the offensive playbook is very, very new to how it was last year, right? So, you know, some people, right, because I've talked about how, you know, one of the problems with this regime is that they're constantly churning, not just the roster, but also the coaching staff, and there's no consistency, right? And so, you know, but you might have been able to argue, well, you know, okay, Godsey and Stoodsville, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, the two offensive coordinators, well, you know, they're returning coaches or whatever, so they'll probably be a lot of the same stuff. Well, now we're finding out that the playbook's actually quite different. So, in fact, the reality is that, you know, for a third straight year, they're going to have to learn an entirely new system. And so, you know, it is what it is. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see, you know, if it causes any learning curves or, you know, anything like that, you know, once the preseason and season gets going. All right, so with that, that's all I really got. That is all of the things that I had to say and the news for today. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspectives. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Phins up.